And hello, everybody. Good evening. I hope everyone had, mind me, had a wonderful day, had a wonderful week, enjoying beautiful autumn temperatures here in Southern Oregon. And I've just been such a sleepyhead today. So it shows that I have three lurking hello lurkers. And tonight I wanted to do a little something different. Um, we have multiple locations here in Oregon that have a haunted history. Hey, Jax, what's up, girlfriend? How's it going? Um, and want to see what the cards might have to say about one of the locations, which is the Ashland Springs Hotel. Only hop, skip, and a jump, and it's right across from my our favorite ice cream shop. So and there's Moira. So let's see. Say hi people as they're coming. Let's put them up here. We got Jax joining us. We got Moira, and we got Kat. Hello, hello. So tonight I am going to be for people who are new to my channel. When I used to do the other channel, several times I would get together with readers. Like, well, of course, the one who gave me the idea and got me excited about doing this, Ginger Faye. Um, she does something called Terranormal, and I wanted to do something fun for mine called mine. I call mine Para Oracle, but I also use tarot as well. And so reading on haunted locations. So between having her been a guest on my channel and me on hers, I've also done readings in the past with Ramon from Moon Scarab. And so also with Ange, Roots and Waves, and Allison one night, we read on a haunted apothecary in Canada. So wanting to get back into some of the paranormal stuff. And oh, you're hurting. I'm sorry, girl. Well, curl up, take care of yourself, and hopefully I can offer a little bit of distraction tonight. And we have Carolina here. Hello, Carolina. Um, oh, you just came back from your ice cream shop, chocolate raspberry swirl. The one here, Moira, they're called Zoe's. They have this chocolate ice cream with ribbons of Oregon blackberry swirl through it and chunks of hazelnuts. It's so good. And Shelby is here. You have a muscle spasm. Ow. Girl, everyone, just give yourself some extra special attention tonight. Hot bath soaks, maybe some relaxing music, something to help unwind and to relax. So, can't walk. My ankle is messed up. Yeah, I woke up with pain, right in my arm on the inside here. And I think it's because I have such a hard table and I lean into this when I'm doing readings or if I'm doing crocheting or something. So I think I kind of, it doesn't help too when you've got inflammation and fibro and all that fun stuff. But we're strong, we're resilient. We'll hang in there, girl. Foot pains, yeah. So let's get into the story a little bit about this place. I have it all saved up on my phone. There was one website that couldn't be reached, it said, anymore or currently. So, but I did find it. It's on hauntedhouses.com. And let me open my phone. So this is going to be a bit of a history. So, alrighty. And it says here, entities of past guests are still enjoying the hotel. Or are they? Well, that's me. I added. So the description, a little bit on the inside. Whoop, I just turned my phone off. Well, y'all can't see what it looks like on the inside if I shut my phone off. So trying to put this here. So this is kind of like part of the inside foyer. I've been inside. It's very beautiful. It's very gorgeous. So let's take a read here on the Ashland Springs Hotel. And of course, this is in Ashland, Oregon. And of course, we know that sometimes spirits can come from different areas to a location if they think that they can be helped there, or they're drawn to people's lights or other energies. So Lithia Park, which is right down the road, a couple blocks actually. That's it from there. There has been rumors that there was a woman that was how do I say this with Jax? You being in chat. She was assaulted, um, sexually assaulted, and they say that you can see a blue mist on some nights. And so we aren't reading on that location, but I might pull cards just to see, what is urban legend. And, so right now, there really isn't too much to go on here. Let me see if I can, it's just not behaving for me tonight. Um, First off, the hotel does not like paranormal investigating. They want really nothing, as of this article, nothing to do with it. They don't want their guests scared, and they don't really want, I guess, notoriety about this. So with the spirit, so even the employees are really not allowed to talk about it. But some things have, kind of came out, and they did have a psychic named Christine. I don't know anything else about her that supposedly came in and did, while staying there, did her own, psychic investigation on her own, which, gave them a little bit of insight to what they think is going on here. It's not the age, it's the mileage. I hear you, girl. So let's get into this, shall we? The hotel was designed by architect firm Tortolot and Hummel. So I'm doing my best to pronounce the name Tortolot and Hummel, who later designed the Idaho State Capitol, the Boise Hotel, and the Glorious Baker Hotel. And they go to describe the Ashland Spring Hotel as a reinforced L-shaped concrete structure, borrowing style elements from the Romanesque, English Tudor, Gothic, and neoclassical architecture. It was built with a 9-story central tower with 2 short wings, and it's the tallest building in the area. I think they said this is the tallest building in all of Southern Oregon, actually. And it used to be kind of like a jewel between here and I think they said Sacramento. Um, the guest was wowed by the main entry with its catenary arch, with inset windows flanked by 2 round arches. Tiffany type stained glass was used in the upper windows and in the 3 arched openings along First Street. Stepping through the entrance is like stepping back in 1925. So, history, 9 stories of safety and comfort, quote, they're saying quote unquote. So let me see if I can show you another little aspect of the hotel. So yeah, it's the L shape. And again, it's the tallest. You can't miss it. When you're driving by on the interstate or driving through town, when you see it, it's the biggest building there. You can't miss it. You know what they say, bigger the better. Anyway, I digress. This hotel had the distinction of being the tallest building between Portland and San Francisco, becoming the most prominent landmark in Oregon. The original name of this hotel, when opened in 1925, was the Lithia Springs Hotel, described as a luxury health resort and vacation hotel for the well-to-do. The Lithia Springs Hotel offered mineral waters to drink and soak in to help a variety of ailments. However, let me interject here. That is sulfur water. So while it's mineral, it's healing, and it does have, therapeutic qualities. If you could get past the egg smell, then, and even still have water fat faucets out in the main area down by the triangle area of downtown Ashland that you can drink out of, but you got to hold your nose. Everybody there has to do it at least once, and it was gross. Let's see. Well, if they're hiring for haunted maintenance, graveyards. Wow. So let's see. All was great for a number of years until the railroad stopped coming through town. Then they found other ways to find business there. It was survived through the Depression, World War II, but started to slide in the 50s. When the Oregon Shakespeare Festival, located in Ashland, became a roaring success, the Lithia Springs Hotel became the Mark Anthony Motor Hotel. I don't know why that's, to me, the other title was much more luxurious and, to me, but I digress, in hopes of improving their occupancy. However, in 1978, an attempt to improve and modernize the structure turned into a disaster that didn't help the hotel's financial distress. This grand old building continued to go down the path of becoming a real fixer-upper opportunity that needed a boatload of money to make improvements that were needed to stay competitive. They did close in 1990, which is interesting to think back that far. That was the year I graduated from high school. And then in 1998 is when I graduated from college, and that's when the building was purchased. It sat empty that long on the real estate market. But then it was purchased by Doug and Becky Newman, who both were able to get investment. So there's a program that they were able to apply to for money for benefit to help support the renovations, and it's through the restoration and renovation through the National Park Service's Certified Rehabilitation Program for Historic Preservation. It's a tax credit. Hello, Miss Tarot D. Good to see you, my dear. I hope you're having a good day. I know it's a Friday. I know it's a treatment day, but thank you for popping in and saying hello. And Christina is also here. Good day, my dear. How are you? More like she graduated from high school in 1888. Well, if that were true, girl, I'd be looking pretty good right about now. It's oil of Olay. My secret. Just kidding. Okay, I'm was seeing Big Bang, but this has anything to do with this. So, um, yeah, Sheldon was quite the character on that show. So let me see where was I. So it took 2 years. It was a successful endeavor. So the hotel's name changed to Ashland Springs Hotel because it has been beautifully restored and also modernized to increase the appeal. Its appeal, the Ashland Spring Hotel enjoys a high occupancy due to the convenient location near to a lot of tourist drawing events. Yes, yes. The restorations of the common rooms and gardens are drawn in local business as well. Most popular for social or business events is the Crystal Room. They have a restored English Gardens, which is great for a wedding venue as well, a large ballroom. And so it says here, apparently the spirits who have a connection to the structure also approve of the vast improvements and visit to enjoy it or to stay to work out their issues. So that's interesting how they wrote that. And a lot of times, spirits don't like renovations. They don't like things getting changed. And when people go in and they renovate and restore, that seems a lot of times when people find paranormal activity starts kicking up. So let's see. Like it says here, this act can trigger paranormal events, especially places built over graveyards, which they believe, everywhere you go, when you hear something being haunted, when they're talking about ancient burial grounds, of course, there's going to be them all over the place. There's just no way to avoid that. And so they actually believe that it was built in around on an ancient burial ground. And I wanted to do and share some of the indigenous tribes of this area. So the native people of this area are known as the Shastas, the Tekelma, the Lagawa, and then there's others that they didn't mention. But in the 1850s, this is when they started getting displaced by settlers coming in due to the gold rush and the mining that took place. So that started around 1850s for them when that started happening. And let's see. So something that's been alleged at this place is on opening day of the Lithia Springs Hotel. This is in 1925. A young boy fell out of a window and passed and died. There seems to be a supposed murder victim also here. And this is where they kind of start getting into what they write down as manifestations. So let me see. Great spirits with OCD. We are all like large balls. Okay. How am I miss? Oh, I get what you mean. Big ballroom, right, girl? It hurts at first, but it will help. Oh, okay. So, spirits of past guests, strange presence in 517. I'm going to be pulling cards on that. Whoever he or she is, they are willing to share the room with living guests. Perhaps this is the male spirit mentioned below under paranormal findings, or it could be another former guest. There have been claims of dark shadow people that float around in common areas. Of course, again, the entity of a boy, I'll pull cards on that. Spirit of a murder victim. So there is a supposedly a psychic named Christine, said a spirit of a well-to-do male sporting a mustache with his hair parted in the middle, sometimes wearing a bowler hat. He seems to be enjoying the Grand Hotel, and according to this psychic's experience or communication with him, he was murdered. However, he does not hold a grudge, which is interesting. And he likes to look out of the window on the fifth and sixth floors, which is interesting because before I learned about this, Shannon and I, when we would get our ice cream, because our ice cream's right across the street from the hotel, and there would be times when I'd be sitting there eating, looking out the window, and my attention would be drawn around to one of those windows on the fifth or sixth. So I always thought that was interesting. Let's see. And of course, again, the owners won't allow talk about anyone's experiences. They don't want to scare away guests after all their hard work in restoring the Grand Lady. As the spirits are benign, the owners don't want a bunch of ghost hunters descending on their hotel, annoying any other spectral guests as well as the living ones too. Hello, Irene. Though the Asher Springs Hotel hasn't come out of the paranormal closet yet, I think they made a mistake here, and it's the Ashland Springs Hotel. Misspell. The reporting of hauntings here was briefly referred to in Kent Goodman's book, Haunts of Western Oregon, in 2009. Although the guests aren't allowed to talk, some guests have admitted that there are such experiences. So that's what we have of the Ashland Springs Hotel. And for tonight, I brought my Ghost Tarot, just for the occasion, along with my Findashil Kipper by Tero Marchetti and my Lunatic Lenormand that I got on Etsy. And I wrote down some questions to be asking the cards. And let's see if I can make sure I don't miss anything. Let's see. Irene says, been driving and listening. I'll be home soon. Drive safely, my dear. Yes, Miss Tarot D, it's been a hot minute. We've missed you here on Friday night. So nice to see you in chat. Okay, now we're talking about canned beans of corn. Okay. Well, chatters are chatting tonight, especially when it comes to, do-it-yourself, home style, self-care remedies. So, wait a minute. Off topic, how much sodium do you put in a water bottle for a day? I do not know, Kat. Let's see. I think Ghost Adventures did an episode. I don't know. They've done a lot of places. I would have to look into that, but these owners they're adamant. No paranormal investigations. I know that Nick Groff, who used to be a member of GAC, him and Katrina Wyman did the Statler Hotel in Buffalo, which was very interesting. And I think that maybe some of the evidence and audio and stuff that they picked up was handed over to local police enforcement to help the cold case from many, many years ago. So it's very interesting. So energy, so we're going to start looking at the energy of the land before the building. So I'm going to pull 3 cards. One's going to be for the energy of the land prior to the building of the hotel, the energy of the land during, and energy of the land after construction. And I welcome, yes, I think Jay did. We'll have to look into that. That might have been before they didn't want anybody in there. So I'll have to take a look at that. Thank you for letting me know. Even though, that kind of gets on my nerves now. And with everything happening to poor Aaron, I don't know if y'all heard about that, but Aaron's wife, paid someone to assassinate him because she fell in love with some dude, who, prisoner or inmate in one of the local prisons. I mean, it was just insane. So, okay, energy of the Ashland Springs Hotel. So I'm actually going to say the Lithia Springs Hotel because I am looking at the time when that was her name, the building. They call her the Grand Lady. And so let's address the Grand Lady by her original name, tap into that energy. So energy of the land prior to the building of the Ashland Springs Hotel. Okay, and of course the first card I get is a court card. So that's okay. I'm better with the court card. So let's pull energy of the land during the construction of the Lithia Springs Hotel. Again, I hope everybody had a great week. Thank you for hanging out with me. And the energy of the land or the area after the construction, because we got to look into the amount of people being drawn there now. It's just not a few of the locals. This is, a lot more other different energies being introduced into the land as well. So let's see what we have here. And I haven't used these cards in a long time, so let's take a look here. I like looking at these two a lot more like oracle cards as well. So the energy of the land prior to the building, I got the King of Cups, which is very interesting because we got to remember it was named after the Lithia springs, the wells, the healing wells. And there's actually Jackson Well Springs just right outside of Ashland where you can go free of charge to come. And there's certain times when clothing is optional. And there are times when, for bathing suits or, bathing suits only. But you can actually go in and soak into these. But again, you got to be able to handle the little bit of the sulfur smell. So King of Cups, perfect. You got the wells, you got the water, we got the spring. It looked like it was a very, the land was very nourishing. It was very healing. It was very grounding, because of the kings, being the mature energy of the court cards. So it was a very well managed, well emotionally balanced, beautiful area. Again, the cups, people would come and drink, they would bathe, even before the hotel. And you had those native indigenous tribes in the area, not knowing too that we're not that far from Shasta. So that's why we have the Shasta tribes too as well. And hello, Shay, magic with moonlight. And so I can see that. So it was, it was well, with the kings, it was well, the leadership, it was guarded well, it was led well. The people lived, in a very peaceful, very emotionally balanced nature with themselves, with each other, and with the land as well, especially that sacred water with the land. Oh, night, Shelby. Thanks for popping in. Let's see. Let me just get through these 3 cards. Energy of the land during the construction. Now I got the 8 of Wands. So that's fast action. I mean, it took a while, of course, to build, but that changed the energy. Things began to really move. And here with the birds, we have a lot of sparrows here too. So again, and there's the water, the springs, and we have the Lithia Park that's connected to that, where we have that creek and that spring running through it. So You can see the spirits kind of being awakened. You can see the birds starting to fly. Things were being disrupted. Things were just happening very fast. Things were just moving, kind of. And with this card here, it's kind of like in a discord. They're all flying around in different directions. So it was an obvious disruption to the energy of the land. Um, It was very triggering, fast action. Hello, Nancy. Um, so, energy of the land after construction. I got the Four of Wands. So, this could very well, maybe the spirits did approve. So, the Four of Wands is about, and not just the spirit, but the energy general with the people. It was successful, it brought people together. The foundation was built, there was celebrations, there was happiness. Again, people coming for healing, people, even up to this day now, going there for special events like weddings and whatnot. So there was a celebration that took place afterwards. There was a lot of celebrating. So that's the initial energies of the cards. And now I'm looking and seeing things about cardiac issues. Okay, what's going on with y'all tonight? Let's take a look. Is everybody doing okay? Talking about sodium. Yeah, Aaron. Okay, so we're still talking about. Hi, Janet Lee. I'm here listening just in, embroidery. Those goes, thank you, my dear. Yes, this is, I need to pull them out more, but now that I'm going to be doing more of the para oracle readings, they're going to be in hand's reach. So thank you for saying hello and acknowledging these beautiful cards. They have, let's see, Miss Tarot D, they have the sign that reads clothing optional, except Miss Tarot D, you must keep your. I was going to let you say that, Miss Tarot D, because it would have been a lot funnier coming from you than it would be from me. But yeah, there's a certain time when people are okay, clothing optional. There are people here that are fine with nudity. Me, I just saw myself taking out the bathtub, and no, not going to happen. So, and like I said, we have Shay here. Hello, Shay. Let's see. Are we talking about the place? Oh, so we're still talking about cardiac and okay. And just for entertainment purposes, only YouTube. We are, all just talking about our experiences and with the healing waters and things of Lithia and the area. We're just, acknowledging that, and we always, remind people to get professional medical help. As always, this is just sharing supplemental home remedies or natural remedies that come from the earth. So, and thank you, Miss Nancy. Okay, still talking about cardio, hydrate. Alrighty, so let's see. My next question is it constructed on an ancient burial land? Most of the time it is, but I'm interested to see what it can tell us about. So I'm going to do a top and bottom card. Is the Ashland Springs Hotel built upon indigenous burial grounds? I mean, that's always a given. Knight of Swords. Yeah, of course. Looks like that. Yeah. So here, not only am I looking at this again tarot-wise, but just the images themselves. So the top card is, the Knight of Swords coming in, coming fast. To me too, this feels like, when the military had to come in, the settlers clearing the land, moving people, and not bothering to, and disrupting basically the lands of, their ancestors to be building these buildings. And with the Knight of Swords, that was a swift movement, swift fast, came in and clearing the people out, but not clearing, their ancestors' burials. And the bottom card is the Five of Cups, a lot of sadness, a lot of grief, a lot of depression concerning around this. So according to these cards, yes. And, it's like having to leave their ancestors behind after being relocated, having to say goodbye. So, okay, we're still talking about the salt. Okay, and the drinks. So that's what I have with that. So, did a young boy fall from the window, from one of the windows on opening day? Yes, dear. Thank you, Janet. I thought so too. Ooh. Did a young boy? One flew out, but I still want to get a top and a bottom. This is interesting. Young boy here, let me see something. I'm going to also use my Lunatic Lenormand. And I was going to say, Miss Tarot D, if you got cards by, you can always pull and join me if you like and share with me what your impressions are or where your psychic impressions were. And I tell you what, I got an amazing reading today on fire signs. That urban forest, man, I'm telling you, he's tapped in. I recommend everybody going over and checking out their signs and gain an excellent reading for October. So, the young boy fall from the window. I also have, yeah, I think so. He did. So let's see what we get here. Sailing, moving ahead, and the ring. Okay. That's interesting. Okay, so I'm going to ask my pendulum. I also have a pendulum. Okay, let me ask. Did a young boy fall from a window ledge on opening day at the Lithia Springs Hotel back in 1925? And I got a yes. And there's that handsome dude right there. Look at. I invoked and he manifested. So everybody make sure to go over to Urban Forest Tarot, hit that like button, subscribe, and get your zodiac astrological. I can't talk today, everybody. So get your reading. It's been one hell of a day, y'all. Let me tell you. Go over and get your reading. There's fire signs like moi. You got your earth, you got your air and your water. So definitely go on over there and get the download for the month of October. So, did a young boy pass away? I believe so. I would like to see who this king. So I did get the Emperor card. And the Emperor card, again, is about leadership. It's about ruling fairly, being well respected. It's an Aries card, too, talking about fire signs. And then I also did get the 10 of Cups, which is interesting because it's the Grim Reaper. Celebrating with souls. I guess some of these souls were happy to, move on in this card. In this card, is that something? Look at that, the Grim Reaper, and everyone's falling behind. So did a young boy fall from the window? I believe so, but there was a welcoming because then I also got the 10 of Pentacles, which is about family and legacy, and there's a little boy there too. So I think so. There was a young child that had passed from this place. I just want to pull a card for a clarifier. Now, I'm not sure if the boy fell by accident. We have this person that's like a leader, person of leadership. of ownership, of ruling, of dictating. That could be like this, the hotel owner. It could possibly be a father. Um, Knight of Wands. So for me, the Knight of Wands in this, the Knight of Wands is, the fast moving. It's very fiery. It's passionate. It can be aggressive. Kind of to temper like. So I'm wondering, and let's see what's on the bottom. And I got the Hangman, seeing things from a different perspective. So it's acknowledging possibly that let's look at his story from a different perspective, and that perhaps let's see what the so out of the Kipper, I did get a rebirth that there was a young boy that passed, and I got the three of, well, not the three of, excuse me. I got the ship card, which is moving ahead, moving forward, crossing waters, and then I did get the ring card, which is all about commitments, deals made. Um, it's a bonding, staying true to your word, whether through like a marriage or a an agreement, business agreement. So these are very interesting cards for this young man. Let me pull this young boy. I'll be pulling from the Kipper, the young boy. What can you tell me about the young boy spirit that supposedly haunts? Pathway, I got this the other day. Community adjudication. Well, this is interesting. Adjudication, something they have to go to court, community. So this boy's passing, apparent to me, it looks like it went to some sort of judge. Something was decided about what happened. I did get the community card, so I think the community, and there's of course there's a little boy right there. So there was some sort of community coming, or around to. I don't know if there was something with safety, or maybe parents possibly could have been involved, or people who are looking after this young child. And to me, the pathway, to me the other day was like a pathway going towards the light. So I believe that story is true about the young boy passing. But the adjudication card, let me see. Were there people, was the young boy's death an accident? What year the boy? He died in 1925, according to the article, because that's the day, Cat, that the hotel opened, and it stated here on the day of the opening is when he fell. So interesting. I asked if the boy, if it was an accident. I think it was an accident. I got coffin, so that's the death card. The message that came through about the passing, or message or information being sent, and I got occupation. So whatever his occupation was, I don't know if it was to maybe open the windows, to clean the windows or something. That's interesting. I got the journey card. Whoa, poverty, and look at that, another young boy. This just flew right out. So yeah, I think it was one of those, those kids that they hire. It could have been an orphan. It could have been, those people earlier in the adjudication. That could have maybe been the company or the owners or whoever had brought the boy on to work. There's the train. That's how people got to the hotel back in the day, before the train stopped. going through, there's the train right there. So, but I want to, so let me pull, here, let me grab a different deck. Oh, yeah, let's grab the other Lieutenant Lunatic Lenormand, and let me ask specifically now with a different deck. Was the boy intentionally harmed? Was he forced out of that window? Was his death intentional? Interesting. Older gentleman. There's that reign and commitment card. The key. So I like usually reading Lenormands in threes, 4s, and 5s. So right now there was something to do with a deal or a commitment that a gentleman made. So that deal, that commitment, whatever this decision was, this commitment was, this agreement was, that's the key to the demise. So then I got the Sun card, which I'm wondering if that possibly came to light about what happened. Let me see what else we get here. There's the public card again. Public, and the other deck we had community. So that's what this is. The community, the public. This is where people come together to talk. So there was talk going on about what happened to, and there's the death card in this deck, about the young boy's death. I want to know, what was this agreement? What was this commitment? What's this agreement about him? And yet we may not be allowed to know. Snake card. Message. In that agreement, the snake sent a message. And then I got the stars card, which is, again, stars like in the tarot. The stars represented fame, fortune, guiding light. But yeah, the snake card with the rider. What's on the bottom of the deck? Fish. And fish meant abundance, prosperity, and wealth. Had to do with money. So yeah, there was something hinky about this boy's passing. And I'll leave it at that. Excellent spreads for the question. Thank you, Janet. They are very pretty cards. So yeah, I have, these are the Miss Tarot D. Don't you have this deck? I mean, I am going to, again, just reference that in my understanding and my interpretation of the cards, I'm seeing that this boy's death could possibly have been not. I'm questioning the claim of, of an accident. Although they didn't say they might have said accidentally in the article, but it said that a young boy fell from the window on opening day. So I don't know, maybe he was looking out, but I don't know. That snake, because the snake is about like the snake in the grass. This is kind of like watching your back. Something is sneaky, something is, funny business is going on. This is like, people, is like basically like a snake bite, it's like a stab in the back. You got to be careful. This is somebody that is not to be trusted. And then you've got the messenger card. So for me, it felt like a message was being sent, something connected to this commitment, this agreement that was made. So, yeah. But yeah, these cards they weren't cheap. I got these about 4 years ago or so, 5 years ago on Etsy. It's called the Lunatic Lenormand. I had the money back then, but I had to pay like $50 for that deck. But I still like them. I still pull them out, and the Kippers are still in print. So, Miss Tarot D, I thought you had. Didn't you have these cards, Miss Tarot D? I know you've gotten some new cards and decks over the past couple of years, especially gifts from people. I'm just wondering if you have that deck. So let me pull these together here. So the next one is there is a strange presence in room 517. So let's take a look at 517. And I hope I'm not boring y'all by doing card pulls for haunted location. I absolutely love doing readings like this, and I need to get back into doing them. But there will be other shows where I will be doing readings. I'll be pulling cards for personal readings. So, what can the cards tell us about the strange presence in room 517 at the Ashland Springs Hotel? Wow, I'm getting almost all core. Similar, getting some same cards again, initially from the energy after the construction. It's 100 years ago. Wonder if he's reincarnated. Oh, very possible. You're not bored, not bored. Okay, thank you, Janet. So Knight of Wands, about the energy presence in 517. And so for me, I'm going to go with male on this card because some people believe, or the article mentions that, and with the woman named Christine, who felt that there was a male with the what's that? So I know, like, think of Gerald from Terror Sesh. You know that what do you call those kind of mustaches? The oh, I almost said cowbell. I'm like, got Christopher Walken in my head, but no, the dumbbell or something like that mustache. So back in the time, a lot of that style of mustache was popular with the bowler hats and the parting of the hair. So that's what that when the handlebar. Thank you, Jax. So I'm thinking that this is going to be the main energy of what's being there is the 517 is the male card. Is going to be a male. So this is a knight. Wands, of course, again, the knights with the wands are people who, and it's interesting that this card, because the wands are fast moving, they're very, they're kind of like a volatile energy. They have the horse actually bending over and eating grass. It's like very slow. For me, I would have thought this more like a Knight of Pentacles kind of card. But this is the Knight of Wands. And the Knight of Wands also, and this is something that Sasha Graham had shared with Jackie's Crystal Moon and I when she joined us for a discussion when we were doing the investigative tarot, and we were using her House of the Haunted Tarot of the Haunted House for our readings. And for her, she always felt like the Knight of Wands was somebody kind of like holding the torch, holding, a torch of love, or holding a space for somebody, someone who loved somebody so much that that they were holding a torch for them. They were very committed to them. So this could have been, again, the person that's in this room might have been very much, maybe is still staying around because of that. I don't know if they necessarily realize they have passed, but they're still hanging around. They're still kind of holding the torch. They're still very passionate, unless it could be to an owner or somebody that was a part of the building or the construction. Could maybe well have been one of the architects, and they're still very proud of their work, and they're still hanging around. And some places people put their heart and soul into what they build or what they create, and they choose to be there, even in spirit. So this individual, very creative, very motivated, very charismatic. So I'm thinking it could be very well somebody connected to the actual building itself. The next card is the Queen of Cups. So this individual, or it could be a female too in there. It's interesting. No one's mentioned a female in the building. So this could be a female that no one has maybe necessarily picked up on yet or spoken about. This could be a woman that might have been connected to this person that had supposedly or allegedly, died there. This is that male energy. This could be, possibly a wife, a sister, or somebody connected to this individual who was very loving, very nurturing. And I can see somebody like that, wanting to stay, especially if they loved and they put their heart again and soul into a building. Um, or this could be a description of um, the individual on the horse. This could be an aspect of themselves. Not only were they very, creative, passionate, and very motivated, they could have also been very emotionally nurturing, supportive, and very intuitive, especially when you're creative, intuition. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab my pendulum and like crook. I never saw Tombstone. Not too big on westerns. Um, but I hear a lot of people like that movie. So let me just ask, is this Queen of Cups the same person in the room that we are with? No. So is this Queen of Cups another spirit that resides in or around room 517? And they're going to spin. So for me, going in circles is a yes for me. And show my viewers no. So that's my no, back and forth. Please show my viewers my yes. There you go, spinning. And usually when it doesn't answer or can't answer, it does one of those funny, back and forth in the diagonal. So let me just ask, was this male and female, were they a married couple? No. Was she his mistress? Okay. Now, there was the story around the man having been murdered there. Well, it was a murder, so I'm wondering, well, what was he murdered about? And it could very well have been because he had a mistress. Um, so let's look at the third card about room 517. And it's again the Four of Wands, which is about celebration, of family, of coming together, of joy, happiness, a new foundation, new foundations being built. So for me, looking at this, I'm thinking in my perspective that he may have been caught with somebody else's, wife, or someone who, because back then women were promised, or even when they weren't promised, they weren't allowed. So it just seems like there's a feminine energy there. Um, but from looking at this, um, it feels like that the feelings were mutual. That they were happy together. They wanted that happiness, that celebration. I just want to ask one more about the male energy, that Knight of Wands. Can you tell me a little bit more about why he stays at that hotel, or what they can tell me? That's interesting. Nine of Swords. Ooh, now this is interesting. I don't know if this is necessarily, the guy's going to be necessarily a good person. Let me see this. Or this was, okay. Let me ask, here. Let me ask the card specifically. This is the male in this reading. Was he a good person in spirit? You'll see why I'm asking that in a second. Was he a benevolent, kind person? Because it says something about him not holding any grudges. Okay. So kind of looking at this from a story kind of point of view, I'm going to go backwards. So I got the Two of Swords, and I also got the Four of Cups. And so the Four of Cups, kind of that empathetic, kind of like, just really like, no, I don't. He didn't want to have to make a decision. And that decision, with it being cups, being emotions, it almost feels like, in a way, he was being kind of like, to him. So I'm going to go on a limb here. So these other cups are possibly past relationships that he had. They were not doing anything for him. However, the promise of her emotions, her love, to me feels like this is what that spirit is offering him in that cup. Usually with the Four of Cups, it's somebody who's very kind of apathetic, kind of lazy, kind of stubborn, not wanting to look. And again, he's not wanting to look at any other cups. To me in this card, because he knew that this was something. So let's look at the other cards. So what I got also was the Nine of Swords, which is about nightmares, cruelty, anxiety. And the other card I had was the Double card. And so I think possibly the person involved in his this demise, this could very well have been connected to the woman. That there was that sense of bondage, or just being unable to let go, not in control. That. So with the Double card, it's all about things that we are, spend too much, drink too much sex, too much. It's kind of like the card of excess, and being controlled by our devices or our vices. Yeah, I got a feeling this is the person that might have been involved in the murder. The man in. Hello, Mona Lee. How are you, or Mona Lee? So, this Double card, is that the individual? Looks like they have one set. And that was weird. Courthouse. Courthouse, house, okay. And imprisonment. So whoever this person was, somewhere or another was connected with the law, the courthouse, had to do with the house itself. So if this was the woman he was seeing, that devil could very well have been the other woman's husband. And I got imprisonment. And or this could have been somebody who was imprisoned, was given money, because this was on the bottom. Great fortune, was offered money to go and take care of this. Almost kind of like watching one of those true crime shows, huh? TV show. What's going on, anyone? Mona, if you saw the thumbnail for the show tonight, it's Para Oracle, where I pull cards on paranormal haunted places and things. And we're looking at the Ashland Springs Hotel here in Ashland. And wow, the next card too was that little boy at the bottom. Very interesting. The main female. So yeah, there was something, and that fear, too, could have been the fear, of being caught, being found out. So, alrighty, and the next card at the bottom is Lover's card. So, okay, I'm gonna set those cards aside. So, in my understanding or what I'm feeling from the cards, and again, this is just me. I could very well be off, center field or left field, excuse me. It just feels like he was murdered because of the relationship he was in with a woman that whose husband or somebody she may have already been betrothed to. So let me just shuffle that up and get that energy all shaken out of there. So the next one I have on my list is the dark shadow figures. So I don't know. So what are these shadow figures? What is this? I'm just going to kind of focus on the shadow figure. Or what is the energy surrounding these shadow figures? Oh, you know what? I'm going to use it different. Oh, here. Because I forgot I pulled another deck. There's that King of Cups again. Yeah, the kings keep coming up in this deck. So to me, yes, it's, kings can, be represent a female. But for me, in my readings, when I do these, I always ask that my court cards represent, the actual gender of the person. So I've got 3 males right here with the shadow figures. I have the King of Cups. Again, I believe that was the original one with the energy of the land. But in this instance, with the dark shadow figures, I also got, again, the Emperor. And then I got the 4 of coins or pentacles, which is, the hoarding or the holding onto money, to wealth, to finances. This could be, again, people involved in the construction and building that, this is their baby. They do not want to let go of it. They want to make sure that, but let me use a different deck. Now I have my Ethereal deck by Vixen, and seeing that this deck is to work with like shadow issues and aspects of oneself, and we're talking about dark shadow figures. So what can this deck tell me about the dark shadow figures that people are seeing? Oh boy, I lost half of my audience. Oh, I'm sorry, y'all. I just really wanted to do something different tonight. I got 10 of Cups, followed by the five of Wands. So we got quite a bit of balancing of energy here. 2 of Wands. So the 10 of Cups was the top card on these shadow figures. So for me, I still feel like there are energies there that want to be happy, that are celebrating, that in spirit they are together. However, there's an underlying energy of conflict, the 5 of Wands. This could be due to the energies of the land that this was built on, from the indigenous people to whoever else that might have been there. I also got the 2 of Wands, which is about planning, strategizing. And so again, we have that lava flow, which can represent, the stream here, that Lithia is with the healing waters. So with the Two of Wands, it's kind of like that's the planning, the looking into, knowing that, they got the whole, world ahead of them, and then that Ten of Cups. So it seems to be possibly this Five of Wands, that conflict possibly too over the years of, people, wanting the building to go one way, or the different owners. Just There is chaos there, but it's interesting how you have conflict and you've got happiness and joy there. So there is definitely a balance of energy, and it's interesting that balance is also represented by the Two of Wands. You know, let me see what else we get pulled up for this one here. The Star card, again, hopes and dreams. Um, some people think that shadow figures, for all intents and purposes, are typically known as malevolent energy. There have been, shows, when I first started getting into the paranormal watching, especially with Amy Allen, shadow figures almost, killed her when she was younger. They were trying to tell her, well, if you put your finger here, and they were trying to get her to put when she was a little girl, a finger into an electric socket, which would have killed her. So for Amy, anything that she has seen that was a shadow figure was something that was of a malevolent energy, very heavy, a very negative, a very dangerous energy. And so with these, and then that some people see a quick shadow out of their side of their periphery if there are spirits in the house. So you have again that balance of what is truly an evil shadow figure, and what is the just the catching of a spirit, or energy, going past you. But with that Star card, even though with that Five of Wands, let me see if I can ask for clarification on that Five of Wands. And then we'll be at your six, and then I can end because we're almost done at the end of the Ace of Swords, communication. So there very well may be Five of Wands, this struggle, this chaos, this arguing. In the Ace of Swords, it's about communication, new ideas come. So this could be still maybe some spirits on the other side, trying to, negotiate what they would like to see further going, with the building, or what has gone on with the building. I'm not seeing anything that with the shadow figures that are truly negative. That Five of Wands, it's disagreements. It's about clashing. It's about, so it could be very well certain spirits that may, of either the land, energy of the land, or individuals that still, aren't happy with what happened to them there, or connected to that building and or the land. But at the same time, there are those spirits there that are keeping peace, that are happy there. One of the next questions was, are the spirits happy with renovations? Because according to the article, the one, psychic said that they seem to be. So I think this is just possibly, energies that come and go from, past spirits, or people that used to, visit there, that used to maybe own it, that were guests there, or worked the land, or wasn't part of the creating of the building, that there's still some sort of, you know, um, dissatisfaction with it. Um, I know I'm saying a lot of ums tonight. 6:07 here. Oh, so you're my time zone too. Oh, that's Cat. Cat, you're my time zone. So that King, that Four of Pentacles, though, holding onto the wealth, holding onto what you have, um, kind of holding on to things at all costs. So I think there's still people that are a part of that land, or that building, the construction of that building, that is still there, that, are proud of it, that want to continue being a part of, its existence, even in the afterlife, and that it seems like people are who own it now currently are taking good care of it. So, yeah. Nothing really malevolent or anything that I'm picking up from it with the cards. That Five of Wands, though, I don't know. I keep wanting to know more about that the Five of Wands in the reading. I may actually put. Let's see. Let me keep this out. Well, Jax, honey, I hope you feel better soon. Keep that Five of Wands out, and I'm going to want to know what is this. I'm going to grab my kipper and see if they can explain more of the shadow figures. What's this Five of Wands? What is surrounding? What's the energy around this conflict? These shadow figures that they're representing. What is the core? A gift, a message, and imprisonment. Oh, okay. So there could very well be still disgruntled spirits they're having to do. Again, there's that imprisonment card. Gift, message, imprisonment. I feel like someone got betrayed. Like someone said, here, this is something for you. Sent a letter saying I think something was stolen, and the person ends up in imprisonment. Something with a gift. What is this message? I can write a whole novel. Cat, you've been up since 4:30, girl. My cat had me up at 7. Despair. Change rises. So yeah, this person, high honor and distant horizons. This could have been somebody that had fought in a war. That's connected to the despair card, or some battle, distant battle, and possibly thinking something was being gifted, then received the message, which ended in imprisonment. Something that looked like a gift, something that. What is this gift? So it's not a malevolent, it's just something that's very sad. Toil and labor. False person. Main male. Okay, there we go. So again, more of that shadow figures may be connected to the guy that we were reading on earlier with the child. Very interesting. And he doesn't have a bowler hat on, but there's the mustache, and then there's the middle hairstyle that they mentioned earlier. So very interesting. Well, next time I will try to maybe come up with some maybe better question. Well, I haven't done this in a while, so those who have hung in there with me, I appreciate that. Appreciate you all very much. And I think I'm just going to go ahead now and end the show. If there is a location that you'd like me to look into and read on, please let me know, and maybe I can get Ginger Faye to join me on one of those readings. So we'll have 2 readers to compare notes to. So I hope everybody has a great rest of your night. Have a good weekend. Jax, you take care of yourself, sweetie, and we'll see you on the next show. Bye, everybody.